Welcome back to Resistance Chicks.
I'm here.
We're your hosts together, tag teaming
Everywhere.
it. Leah and Michelle.
Here? Periscope, everybody?
Well, we can't do Facebook.
We ain't got no Facebook.
1,000 points higher. We could be 10,000 because there's no inflation. Big thing is inflation. There's no inflation. But we're doing so well.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a tremendous honor to be here with a lot of people who I really respect and admire. The corrupt establishment that you talked about and the mainstream media have told a lot of people in this room that the social media censorship and the banning that we're experiencing is all in our heads. They're gaslighting us with this lie. Let me tell you about a couple of people I represent in my law practice and the civil rights work that we do. David Horowitz is a great American who's a supporter of yours and has been in the movement for many decades. Well, Twitter abruptly deplatformed him one day, took him off, said he was banned, and then he complained, and then they let him back on. And then the next day, they did the exact same thing to him. That's not an accident. James Damore is another great American who I represent. Mr. Damore complained internally about Google's discriminatory practices against conservatives and pushed for more balance. Not only was he fired for daring to do that, but then these social media platforms use their platforms to humiliate him publicly, weaponize their platforms, and make sure that he could not get a job in Silicon Valley. That's a disgrace. But it goes beyond that. These social media CEOs have come to Congress in front of many of these members of Congress here, and they've lied about what they do. They've lied about the data theft. They've lied about the media manipulation. And they can't get away with that. Now, Senator Blackburn knows from what happened to her on Twitter that these companies are trying to stop the ordinary men and women who you represent from hearing their voices. I'm very concerned that they affected the outcome of the 2018 election, and if we let them do what they've been doing, it's going to affect the outcome of the 2020 election as well. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for inviting everybody here to talk about these issues, and we're all behind you joining the fight to make sure that every American's voice is heard. Thank you very much.
So then he has on Lila Rose,
who is fantastic, by the way. I just love her.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. It's really an honor to be here. Thank you for doing this important summit. I represent Live Action. I'm the founder and president, and we are a pro-life organization which reaches millions of people every week with the truth about abortion and human dignity. We have been for 4 years banned from doing any advertising on Twitter, and they told us that in order to reinstate our accounts, we'd have to stop calling for the defunding of Planned Parenthood and stop sharing our pro-life content. Meanwhile, Planned Parenthood and other abortion groups continue to advertise. Last month, we were permanently suspended from Pinterest, and they accused us of spreading conspiracy theories and misinformation with our pro-life content with no evidence. And then news media groups picked up the narrative and spread it around. Meanwhile, abortion groups, including abortion clinics, post freely on Pinterest. And then recently, our videos have been viewed more highly than almost any other abortion-related content on YouTube. But YouTube, we made it to the first page of search results, but YouTube buried our pro-life videos and boosted pro-abortion videos. So this double standard and bias is a growing problem in big tech. Even though they say that they are politically neutral and they don't discriminate, they even testified before Congress and said that. So thank you so much to the administration and to you, Mr. President, for holding this very important summit. Thank you.
That's gotta be nerve-wracking.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you could tell. And you know what? She usually is like as you know, solid as can be, but I would be terrified.
So James O'Keefe was there, and he's got more insiders lined up. He says,
I'm in front of the Eisenhower office building, about to go.
I think James O'Keefe is the reason that this happened.
To the White House, the social media summit.
Because he proved it.
Never before have so many online journalists and influencers, and that's exactly what you are. You're journalists and you're influencers, come together in this building to discuss the future of social media. Each of you is fulfilling a vital role in our nation. You're challenging the media gatekeepers and the corporate censors to bring the facts straight to the American people. We have censorship like nobody has any understanding or nobody can believe. When you see the Google executives together and one of their executives decides to put it on the phone, right? That's right. Thank you. Oh, there he is. Stand up, please.
Here he is. He's putting out.
Stand up.
Getting called out.
How good. What a great job. Somebody said he's controversial. He's not controversial. He's truthful.
Whoa.
He's truthful. That was a great job. That was one of many. Thank you.
One of many.
He is looking. He does see.
I know.
So this is where I have to, I gotta say, this is why I honestly ignore 50%, 60%, 75% of the policies that Trump does. Because I know that he's going to social media and he's listening to what people are putting out.
Right.
And the idea of people sending people to Congress, or it's back to the biblical, it's constitutional based on biblical principles, where under Moses they had smaller groups and then bigger groups who sent a representative, then a bigger group who sent one representative.
Exactly.
And they got that idea in the Constitution from the Bible. Many of the things in the Constitution, the idea of it is actually in Scripture.
Yeah.
Okay? The people didn't quote chapter and verse because they knew where it was in the Bible back then. Michelle has a really good video from David Barton talked about that. There's 157 idioms that we say.
200 and some odd.
I thought it was 157.
It's a lot.
Anyways,
like
it's a lot.
271, I think.
There's a lot of idioms that we say that are actually biblical. A leopard can't change his spots. Cleanliness next to godliness. Things like that. They're in the Bible. And people didn't need to quote chapter and verse because everybody just knew it was in the Bible. Now, as long as I know that Donald Trump is listening to people on social media, then I will support Donald Trump. Right. Because I know that for the most part, the people that he is listening to are people that I tend to agree with. Small government, right? I don't need everybody to be the same as me. But these people are people who believe in the Constitution. They're people who believe in the Declaration. They believe in small government. And they don't believe in going out and doing foreign wars.
Right.
A large portion of them are pro-life. And a good majority of them believe in the Christian foundation of this country, even if they're not Christians. They're Christians and Jews.
The fact that Donald Trump is listening to the people that say, we actually want you, Mr. President, to have less power. We want the government to have less power. And Trump says, okay, I'll listen to you.
Right.
You know, is better than him listening to the people that say, we want you to have all the power. We want the government to have all the power.
If he was bombing everybody every day, then the media would actually be happy.
Right.
Well, we are a big company. We're going to say it. People who voted for the current president do not agree with our definition of fairness.
They're not objective peace. They're not an objective source of information.
They have a fairness doctrine, and they said the people who voted for Donald Trump do not agree in their definition of fairness. Literally, 50% of people in this country, they think it's morally right to censor them.
Right.
I've watched some of these scenes that have been taped and gotten through, talented people, by the way, but gotten through and gotten to the public, where you see the hatred of our party, of our people, of our voice. And you say, that's the collusion.
We didn't know how far against until we had certain of our friends and geniuses that broke into boardrooms and got them right in the middle of a meeting. That was incredible. What a service she did, okay? You don't get credit for it, you should get credit for
All I can say is Project Veritas' journalism was vindicated today by the President of the United States. And I'm telling you, a lot of the sources are going to be inspired, and I think a lot of them are going to come forward that are coming to us now. So stay tuned for more journalism, and I hope the press takes this quite seriously.
I hope so,
well
too.
Done, James
because he says, it's a moment when the tides are changing. Project Veritas is finding more evidence of tech bias. Many more insiders are lining up. Inspired by our Facebook, Pinterest, and Google insiders, we're dotting our I's and we're crossing our T's on new stories at multiple companies. New normal. Wow. So
what I'm seeing and what we're finding, the more that James O'Keefe exposes, the more that these people get exposed, the more they've started to own it and come out and just say, well, listen, it's our right to censor. We believe you're wrong and we have every right. And that's actually good news. Because if they come out and they admit what they are doing, whether they're not admitting that it's wrong, they're saying that they're doing it for a righteous cause, then it's like, oh, okay, then we can make legislation, we can pass laws.
you want to, and actually, here's the thing. I don't want people to, as lemmings, to jump over a cliff. All right? I honestly would love to sit down and just debate these people and win on merit alone.
Right. Which is not hard to do.
Here's the thing.
With these people.
What happened in 2016 is that the people like us, their voice got out.
Yeah.
And when normal people heard our voice, the people in the middle, they changed their mind on things.
Right.
There are independents. There are people who weigh both sides of an argument and listen to, but you haven't had two sides to any argument ever.
Right.
Ever since the turn of the century. Well, ever since the early 1900s. You've only had one side. FDR was like, this is what we're going to do. There's no debating it. We're going to do this.
Right.
Right? And without social media, you only have, Johnny Carson bringing on people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where do you get, who's that other gray-haired guy who used to have people on? Phil Donahue. Donahue used to have some people on. You used to hear people, maybe some people from Oprah. But other than that, there was no other side to the voice. It was just Christians who would go to conferences or in churches and share videos and tapes.
Yeah.
So the internet came about, and then there was Fox News, and we're stuck with Fox News. And literally, Fox News is like eating cereal for breakfast, and it's like, or cereal for dinner, like over and over and over again. It gets to be tiresome, but it's the only other alternative, right? And it's only one.
Yeah.
And then you have these independent people want to have somebody else break things down. There are people who can get behind the scenes, and Alex Jones was one of those voices that people were following, millions of people were following. I didn't know he was until 2016.
Yeah.
Because people were sharing him on Facebook. I wouldn't have known who he was until Mom started playing him, and he was really interesting. He was really captivating, and I liked the way he spun the information that the mainstream media and Fox News didn't spin it in that way. And I'm not saying spin it, explain it, right? Yeah. You need to talk about things.
Yeah.
Right? We all should sit down and talk about things. And we should have different people with different opinions. But literally, when we watch the mainstream media, we only hear one side. Well, the mainstream media wants to make sure there's only one side still.
Right.
They don't want the world to hear a second opinion. You go to the doctor. Oh, you're going to die in 6 months. Well, I'm going to go get a second opinion.
Right.
I'm going to go find somebody else, and then they save your life.
Right.
And I think that that's what's happening, is that the media is like, you're going to die in 6 months. Like, I'm going to get a second opinion. Oh, look at this. I just need to change my diet, and I'm fine. I'm healed of cancer. Thanks.
Right.
Like, oh, you should have died, you idiot. I told you in 6 months. Why would you stop? You're supposed to be dead. I'm the doctor. Why wouldn't you take my advice? You should just be dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the media. Just die already.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play Josh Hawley's, there's only a short segment here of what
Another round of applause to the president.
He's like my age
of the United
younger.
States for his leadership on this issue.
He seems a lot older.
The media says, the establishment media, the fake media, they say, oh, there's no censorship in social media. That's all made up. That's all fake. You and I know that that's not true. You and I know the truth is that the social media giants would love to shut us down. They would love to shut us up. They would love to shut him up more than anything else, and we can't let them. And that's why we need to step up now, and I think we need to say to them, here's the deal. Google, Facebook, Twitter, they've gotten these special deals from government. They've gotten a special giveaway from government. They're treated unlike anybody else. If they want to keep their special deal, here's the bargain. They have to quit discriminating against conservatives. You agree with that? No more. No more discrimination.
Not just conservatives, though. It's just anybody, any voice that they disagree with.
That's all we're asking for. They ought to abide by the same principles of free speech and the First Amendment that this country embraces, that we love and call our own. And I don't think it's too much to ask for these huge tech platforms who've gotten rich off of our information, right? Off of our data, off of everything we've given them. They've gotten rich off that. They've gotten rich off their special privileges from government. They want to keep those. They shouldn't discriminate. They shouldn't censor. They shouldn't shut us down. I want to thank the president again for his incredible leadership. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you, Mr. President, for all that you do.
He's a constitutional lawyer, by the way.
Awesome.
Constitutional lawyer. All right. So let's see. We probably listened to that clip, but let's see.
This is a historic day. Never before have so many online journalists and influencers, and that's exactly what you are. You're journalists and you're influencers, come together in this building to discuss the future of social media. Each of you is fulfilling a vital role in our nation. You're challenging the media gatekeepers and the corporate censors to bring the facts straight to the American people, and that's what you're doing. You're going right to the people. Possibly we wouldn't be here right now. I asked somebody, what do you think I'd do without social media? Would I be here? Because I said, I think so.
We did watch that
I
part.
like that he said, would I be here? He has to say, he has to say that he would be there, but he says, I don't think I really would be here.
And why are we talking so much about this? Because we have Epstein to talk about. We could talk about Tommy Robinson and all these big stories. We will not be able to bring you all of these big stories if they continue to censor us. And that's why this story takes precedence over, I think,
we can talk about the trip to, the Grand Canyon, but if they take the road away, I can't even get there to tell you about it.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about the road being busted up.
Right. So I know that for those of you that maybe don't experience this because you're just a viewer and you don't quite feel I know you do really feel the frustration, but maybe not in the same manner. And you're like, okay, Leah Michelle, why are you always talking about being censored? Why are you always hammering this issue? Yada, yada, yada. In my memories on Facebook, it showed up a video. Do you guys remember all the times that we've had Horatio on, our UK correspondent? And it just showed up on my Facebook memories, 1 or 2 years ago or something like that. And we had streamed that video that we did with him live. And on Facebook, it had 1,450 views. And that was just Facebook alone, not including, I don't know, I haven't gone back to check what the YouTube video count was, but we used to get thousands and thousands of views on every single video that we did.
Facebook now, was hard to get views on.
We're lucky to get 300 or 400 views on one video that we do, and we've been taken off of Facebook live streaming, so we can't even put our videos up there. We have to share the YouTube video. So this is important. Lee and I are going to continue to do what we're doing regardless. You guys will have to find us someplace if we get kicked off of these platforms. I know that Jay has the Patriot channel, which is also called V2vo. You guys can check that out, and I want you to be supporting it. But regardless, we're going to be somewhere. Even if 50 of you show up, even if 5 of you show up, we're going to be there and we're going to say it. But how many more lives can be changed if we and everybody else that are content creators are able to spread the word and get out there? There's so many people that we have as Resistance Chicks followers, and I'll get messages like, wow, I haven't seen you girls in forever. I just stumbled upon you because I was searching for a certain video and your posts used to come in my feed all the time. Sunday,
right, exactly. Guys.
Enjoy the rest of your Friday evening. Look how much shorter than me you look standing here. I have just regular shoes on. You're like a tiny person.
We'll hold me down.
Now we're like the same tiny person. Okay, all right. Good night, guys. I was cold.